If you're in the market for a new frame pack, then you've landed in the right place. In this video, we're going to start out by giving you an overview of several different frame packs that we've used. Then we're going to test them out with a 50-pound load, and then by the end of the video, rank them. Stay until the end of the video if you want to know which pack best suits you. The packs that we are looking at today come from brands like Mystery Ranch, Kifaru, Exo Mountain Gear, Alps Outdoorz, and Sitka Gear. If you want to have your pack featured in next year's comparison video, get a hold of us and we will include it. We're going to start out by having Jordan give us an overview of each pack.
The most successful elk hunter in Johnson City. And today we're going to be doing reviews on packs. We got an Exo. This is Hunter's pack behind the camera. Say hi, Hunter. We got a Sitka Mountain Hauler that Nico won in the Diverge contest. Okay. We got an Alps pack. You can get these at Aldi or Walmart. We got the Mystery Ranch Marshall in Sitka Sublime camo.
Sublime?
Like the band.
Oh.
We got a Kifaru for those African adventures. And then we got a day pack for you whitetail hunters, rabbits and squirrels. Today, me, Hunter, and Nico, we're gonna put these packs on our back with 50 pounds of Quikrete for some reason. And we're gonna be hiking up and down the amphitheater here. This is the Red Rocks of Johnson City, Illinois. We're gonna load up. We're gonna hike, Hunter says, for an hour.
10 minutes a pack.
10 minutes a pack. And luckily for you, we've all hauled elk in these packs, so we already kind of know how they feel. And we're gonna tell you what we like and dislike about every single one.
Why are you talking like that? You've never talked like this in your life.
This is my YouTube voice.
So how long can you get out of each one of these packs roughly, as far as somebody that's in the market and looking to go elk hunting for a week?
Yeah.
Which pack can hold the most versus which one is not something you need to be looking at if somebody's making a decision?
So here's the thing. All of these brands have packs that'll go big enough to go 7 to 10 days. For the packs we have here, only one of them will probably get you that far, and that's the Mystery Ranch Marshall. It's gonna hold enough to get you a week.
So that's somewhere in like the 6,000 to
5,000 to 6,000, I would say you're gonna need. This one's over 6,000, I know that. I think it's 6,800. Fact check. We've never been in longer than 5 days because we've been lucky enough to kill one. But this will get you 5 to 7 days. And you really don't want to be in there any further than that anyway. But all of these packs, if you pack light enough, will get you in the backcountry for a while. It's really gonna depend on
that one.
How much gear, except for the day pack.
Yeah.
But it's really dependent on how light your gear, how compact is your gear. If you got big tents, big sleeping bags, and a bunch of heavy stuff, you're not gonna be able to stay in as long. Yeah. So if you pack really light, have a bunch of light gear, light equipment, you can get a lot of that into any one of these packs. So
probably an average of like 4 to 5 days, you'd say, on all those.
I would say if you're going in for 7 days, 5 to 7 days, if that's your goal, I would aim for at least 5,000 cubic.
What about the price point, comparatively speaking, between all these? Like, which ones,
so
beginner wise, would you stick with, and which one would you maybe move up to?
So the cheapest one you're gonna find is gonna be the Alps. So these Alps packs, you can get them relatively cheap.
I think I paid like $300 on Facebook Marketplace for that one.
Yeah, and I think you could probably even get them cheaper than that. So the thing with these Alps packs are they're cheaper. They are a bit heavier. So when you're carrying one of these, you just want to consider the actual weight of the pack, because some of these packs probably only weigh 4 to 5 pounds. So when you're starting at a 5-pound pack versus a 10-pound pack, you're looking at, you've already doubled your weight before you've even packed anything into it. So one thing that's really nice about this one is it comes with everything you need. It has the side pockets. If you flip it down here, it's got the rifle holder. It's also got the rain cover down here, which I really like. So if it's your first hunt and you're just not sure if you're gonna be into it, this is a great starter option because it's gonna have everything you need. It's a little heavier. It's not quite as big and roomy as some of the other ones. Another one of my favorite features on the side here, it's got this padded pouch. It's for a spotting scope, but if you're like us and you carry cameras and lenses around, this will fit a 70 to 200 lens pretty much perfectly, and it's padded on the side, so you can carry a bunch of camera gear in this pouch. I really liked it. So this is a good beginner pack.
We actually started with, me and you both had one of those, I believe, the first time we went. So,
and we don't have one here. Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, the RMEF or whatever, they have packs that are pretty cheap. Everless stock, they have some cheaper packs, but this is probably about as cheap as you're gonna find with all the features. All these other packs, the Exo, the Sitka, the Mystery Ranch, and the Kifaru, they're all price point pretty similar. You're looking at somewhere between $450 and $700 for these packs. So
yeah, I think I paid $700 for the Exo. You probably $700 for. And then, like, talk about the differences. It seems like the more top of the line pack, the more you're gonna pay. Like with the long run, if you want to add attachments, almost everything that you want to add is an additional.
So when you look at the Kifaru, this pack, like they said, somewhere between $600 and $700. All of this extra stuff, these little pouches here, the cup holder. If you want to,
Nico, you had to pay for the lid on that, right?
Yeah, the lid is separate.
All of this stuff, the lid, the side pouches, the cup holder, it's all separate. You got to buy attachments. It's really great to customize your pack so you can have everything you want on it. The idea behind it is they don't want to add anything you don't use because that's extra weight. So if you don't need these, you don't have to have them. You save some weight. But if you do want them, you got to pay a little more. That's true for the Kifaru. It's true for Mystery Ranch, although this pack, it come with the hood. It doesn't have any straps on the side, but I don't use them. I strap my binocular case actually to my hip because I'm usually wearing my camera on my chest. So, but same deal. If you want to add anything to these, you got to pay extra. I think this pack was $600. The Sitka pack here,
it was actually I think it's $529.
$529. It is. This is their mountain hauler.
Yeah,
it tells you right here.
4,000.
This is the 4,000. So a little bit smaller than the Mystery Ranch, the Kifaru, the Exo, but it doesn't cost quite as much. So if you're going in, you could probably get 5 days out of this if you're packing real tight. But like I said, it's going to depend on what kind of gear you're putting in here, but you could probably stretch this out to 5 days. The big thing about this one, it's not an external frame. So when you're looking at this, there's a cop driving by figuring out what we're doing. When you're looking at some of these packs, if you can imagine the frame that's on here, a lot of these packs will actually fold off the frame. Create like an L, you put your meat in and then you fold the pack back out. And so you can have a gap between your meat and your pack, so you can pack it all together. This pack is attached to the frame, so it's not detachable. You got to slide the meat in between, but it's not a detachable frame. So something to keep in mind.
That's the difference between internal versus external. And I believe that's the only internal frame pack we have here in this lineup.
So Sitka likes their internal packs. It's really a user preference if you like internal versus external. This pack is going to be more like a pack you're going to see at like REI, like a hiking pack, where these meat hauler packs, they have that meat shelf to help you pack meat. So it's all user preference. I know a lot of guys out in Colorado that use these. Some guys really like them. Some guys really prefer to have the frame. The Exo, these are really popular. Just picking it up, it's really light. I don't know what the size is on this one. 5,000?
Yeah.
So you can look at these two packs. And I can tell you that this one's bigger, but it's lighter already than the Sitka pack. But again, this is an external frame, so you could see that space there. You could take this pack and actually pull this pack off.
Yeah,
and there's going to be a meat shelf down here that'll
when we
out.
load these up here for the load test, we're going to break each one of these packs down and kind of give you a rundown between the differences and how each one of these packs are loaded. Because that's another thing to consider whenever you're all friggin' worn out and you're trying to figure out how to use your pack for the first time. It's kind of it almost needs to be practiced. Is there anything that you would add to any of these packs that you think is important for people to consider whenever they're trying to make a decision to purchase?
Personally, I prefer the bag that breaks apart and you can put the meat in the load shelf instead of putting it in the bag with everything else that you got.
Is that
everything bloody? Does
that allow you to carry like extra components in your bag? Like say you wanted to pack some of your camp out at the same time?
Yeah, you could pack meat and your whole camp if you wanted to. If you're man enough for that, I guess.
What's your favorite part about this pack, Nico? This is Nico's pack.
I like all the straps on it.
He can talk about it.
And they've got a couple different frame options. This one's the Duplex Tactical, so it's got the full frame on it, and I like that instead of, I think it's the Duplex Light, is more like a two-piece. I went with this one, so if you pack meat and it's all bloody, it won't run down your back or anything.
You get any blood on that one from last year?
A little bit.
You try to wash it off or you just leave it?
I just left it.
I'm the same.
And with Kifaru, they've got all kinds of different bag options, so you can figure out like how many days you're gonna need, and you could have even a couple different bags but still use the same frame.
You could swap bags even and use that same frame if you decide you wanted a heavier setup.
It's got all kinds of straps on it and stuff. They've got all kinds of pockets that you can throw on it. It's got a lot of modular ability to it.
How much do you have in that bag, you think, money wise?
Probably like 900-ish.
900. So you're talking top of the line.
Yeah.
You ready to load them up?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's load some of these up and we'll go ahead and we're gonna swap packs during this and see if we don't come up with a new favorite based on how they feel with a heavy pack. We're gonna put, what, 50 pounds in there? Nico's probably gonna do about 180.
Frame opens up. This is 50 pounds. And this is pretty comparable to about what an elk shoulder is gonna feel like boned out. So you're gonna put in your pack like this. The only difference I would say is the elk meat is just, it's gonna be an odd shape. And that does play a component to this, but you kind of just fold it together and then you're gonna use your buckles here. And you gotta find them. And you're gonna strap everything in as tight as you can get it. You do one side, you'll come around here to the other side. Once you get them on, you're gonna wanna tighten it about as tight as possible. One thing I like to do is make sure these bottom straps are nice and tight too.
So I'll go ahead and break down. I got the Exo K4 5000 here. The first thing you got to do is take off the lid, just unbuckle it there, basically undo these straps. So got that off, and then we've got little pockets here where the frame actually sits. You'll come in here, there's a little bit of Velcro, undo that, pop this up, so now you're detached here. Do the same thing on the other side.
Up and down.
And then just like Jordan's pack over there, basically, you're just gonna open this thing up and lay it flat. And then you're gonna take the meat, or this would be the meat sandbag right now, but what I like to do is make sure I've got a little bit of room left down here off the top of my hip bone. I like a little bit higher. I think some of that's a little bit preference, but I like it in this region up here. And one thing I like about this frame pack here that I don't know that your pack had this, you've got straps on the inside of the frame in here that actually secure the load on the inside.
Mine does have that, I just don't use them.
He just doesn't do it. So there's a couple different ways that you can actually buckle these together. What I did last year, it seemed to work pretty well, is I actually went kind of like crisscross up here, tightened it down, and then I took this side and went straight over the top of that one. And that's, like I said, one of my favorite things is having that secured to the actual frame itself instead of relying just on the outside. Go right back over where we just came from with this. Same thing with the other side. And then you're just gonna fasten these external straps again, pretty typical.
This is the Kifaru. It's the reckoning bag is what it is. What you do is come to the bottom, undo these. Then you got these straps here that you're gonna undo. Save your Velcro. Take them all the way out. Undo all your buckles. Then you'll slide your frame out like that. Then there's these tabs on this little flap right here that you gotta kinda put in these little D-rings or whatever they want to call them. Then I've got these straps on the inside like Hunter did. Get my sand, throw it on there. Then you'll take these will go on your actual frame now. Those are just for your load lifters to clip into. You should be able to buckle everything back up.
So the Alps has a bunch of straps in here to pack the meat on. Hunter's gonna grab the sandbag for us. Nice little harness here. Little seat belt for your meat. Strap it on like that. So that is one nice thing about this pack is you do have this harness on here that kind of holds everything together.
I think my dad actually just carried it with that last year. Like we were going in just to get the meat and he left this whole
you can unzip this
part of it off.
Yeah, you can unzip that off. So we've hauled meat with this. Yeah, it looks like if you wanted to, you could completely remove this entire pack just by zipping it to the bottom there, which I actually think you have to, because I don't think you can zip this back up with the meat on it. Just looking at it, you're not gonna get.
You might not zip it, but the buckles might hold it.
Yeah.
I'd say that would be sufficient because it's not like you're gonna have a big.
Yeah. So you got buckles at the top. Strap the pack back on. Because Hunter's dad hauled a bull off the mountain with this. I actually hauled a turkey about 8 miles in one. Didn't enjoy it.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and load up the Mountain Hauler 4000. Like we said before, this is an internal frame pack, so it's a little bit different. You're gonna open up the lid, undo this buckle. I like to go ahead and fold this out. It's not really necessary. Then you're gonna open up this U-shaped zipper here. And the meat shelf is actually inside the bag here. And you can keep it rolled up. I've already got it undone. But basically, you flop that out there like that. And these color-coded straps actually come into play. You're gonna end up buckling these up here inside the bag. It's the only two places to buckle once you have the meat in the shelf. I'll talk about that in a second, but we'll go ahead and load it up. Try to even that out a little bit. I like to go ahead and set it on the frame and then make sure a little bit of this, I don't know, 4 or 5 inches is underneath the meat. And then you're gonna take that and basically just fold it back over the top. And then find those buckles that I just talked about. In here. And then tighten it down real good. So my complaint with the internal shelf here is that there's no additional straps on the inside that will go transversely across the meat. You got to rely on these outside straps to get that done. So, I mean, it does okay with it. I just wish that there's a couple more straps. Zip that back up. And as you can see with the internal shelf, there's not much room left for your camp. You're already almost at max capacity with just the meat. So there's nowhere to actually store gear except for on these outside pouches. And keep in mind, this is only 50 pounds. So we're talking maybe a quarter or a couple back straps, but you're not getting much meat out with one haul. But you're gonna tighten these straps around all the edges, and that's pretty much the gist of it. So we'll go ahead and throw this on one of our guys back here and see what they think of it.
Start at the bottom.
Trial 1.
Up and down is 1. I'm gonna do 10. Ain't bad.
So we're ranking these. Jordan might only rank a couple, but I'm gonna go through the top 5 since I tried these all on and we gave them a solid, I don't know, 10 minutes a piece up and down the hill. So my first 2 packs that I'm gonna rank number 1 and the best packs, we're going with Kifaru and Exo Mountain Gear. I think these are both a step up above the rest of them, just between all the features and how comfortable they are. There was no squeaking on any of these. The only downside with these is you got to pay extra for them. You got to pay extra for the accessories. In third place, I'm going to actually go with Sitka. This might actually bother a lot of people, but for the price of $529, I believe, you're saving about $100 to $150. You're getting some you're getting the lid attached with this one, like the Kifaru, it's additional, but I thought the comfort was pretty solid on it. The only thing I don't like about it, I probably wouldn't take it on an elk hunt. It would be more for like a mule deer hunt or something, because there's just not a lot of capacity with the internal frame. What is this? 4th place, we're gonna go with Mystery Ranch. For me, the pack had a little bit of bounce to it. I don't know whether that was a sizing adjustment I needed to make. Maybe with some more time I could have got it fitting a little bit better, but a little bit of a squeak to it when I walked. But overall, you're going to get a pretty good price out of this one for something that can last probably a week or more. So that's my 4th place bag. And then last, but don't get me wrong, this is a good pack. This is a great beginner pack. I would suggest this to anybody going on their first hunt in comparison to all of the others, because trust me, you don't know what you're getting into until you've actually went on a full-blown backcountry elk hunt. But this one, you're getting built-in accessories, and you're pretty much getting it all in one package and at a way cheaper price. The only downside, weight. I think we're up to almost 9 or 10 pounds with just this bag alone. And
it just wasn't super comfortable. Kind of pinched in other spots that you didn't want to be pinching.
So after the good test we did, the first one's probably the Kifaru for me. I might be a little biased to it because this is mine, but I liked the padding on it. It's pretty soft. Felt like it rode on my hips the best, which maybe it's because it's just adjusted to me and tailored to me better. But I liked all the straps and the modularity to it. I guess you can switch out packs pretty easy for different hunts and stuff. Second place is probably the Exo. It rode the second best. This one has a lot of straps too, and you can move it around to get it to fit. The only thing on me was these pads kind of felt like they dug into my back the most, I guess, but hip pads were good. It was pretty solid, no noise or anything. And then probably the Mystery Ranch was third for me. It rode good and everything. I didn't really notice any bounce or anything. The only thing was that it felt like it squeaked on me whenever I was walking, just bouncing up and down a little bit. But other than that, it was pretty good. Fourth place was Sitka. This one, I didn't really like the hip pads. I guess they were kind of stiff and they felt like they wanted to slide down on me. They didn't want to stay on my hips. I felt this one in my shoulders a lot more too. So there's that one. In last place was the Alps. It's just a budget pack. That's just what it is. It's pretty, I don't know. It's got padding in some places, and some places it doesn't have padding. And that's just how it goes.
All right,
Give us your honest opinion.
I am.
Don't be trying to sway the crowd.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, so my ranking, the Exo first. So this pack probably rode the best for me. I really liked the way it rode. Didn't grab at my hips like the other packs. Also just for the price point. If I had to buy a new pack tomorrow, this is probably what I would get. So really enjoyed the Exo pack, number one. Number two, this is the Mystery Ranch. This is my personal pack. And the Kifaru for sure was more comfortable, but I think at the price point for me, Nico said he had about $900 in on his. This one brand new, it's $599. You get the day pack, which I just really like having. I like being able to take this pack, leave it at camp, carry the day pack with me. So for me, with the price point for $600, I would buy this one again before I shelled out the money for a Kifaru, but the Kifaru was definitely, probably rode a little better. This one does have a squeak, but I think I'm just so used to it, I've just never really noticed it. So, but it is a little noisier. The Kifaru's next. So, super light pack. I like the way it looks as well. All the extra padding and everything that Nico's added to it made it really comfortable. I just think for me, as hard as I am on things, I just don't know if I would shell out the money. It didn't for me ride much better than the Exo, so from a price perspective I would go with the Exo before I got a Kifaru. Sitka's next. Truthfully, I don't like the packs where you got to carry the meat in the pack, because if you do, if you have an elk and you're trying to get something else out with it, that be it something from camp, or if you have a deer, I just don't like the idea of ruining your pack, getting all the blood in it, and not being able to pack out multiple things at once. So, but it did ride really nice. Like Hunter said, probably a really good pack for a deer hunt. Doesn't hold as much room either, the 4000. So maybe more of a mule deer, antelope, 2 or 3 day pack hunt, not an elk hunting pack. And then finally the Exo, or no, what is this? The Alps. The Alps pack, you can just feel it. It's kind of heavy. Like I said, I do like that it has the padded pouch here on the side where you could put a spotting scope or you can put camera gear. I really like that. Comes with the rain pack, comes with the rifle holder. For the price, you really can't beat it to use it, to have as an extra pack until you're ready to upgrade to a bigger pack. If you're hunting from a truck at camp or something, this is more than enough to get a bull off the mountain. It's just not something I would want to be carrying on my back for 5, 6, 7 days. So this was our big review. We covered all the packs all at once, kind of gave our opinions on them. We have individual reviews where we really thoroughly go through every one of these packs. We go through all the pockets, we go through all the text, all the specs on all these bags. So if you want to know anything else about any of these bags, if you're interested in one more than the other, go to our page. You can look up the Exo, you can look up the Kifaru, the Mystery Ranch, we have the Alps, the Sitka. You can look up all these packs and go through them and pick out which one you're going to take on your next hunt.